So the Western economies are cratering. Yeah, the United States economy is going down the tubes. The European economy is going down the tubes. If you're in Europe, you're not going to have much heating over the next few months and next winter. And, insofar as electricity is concerned, in Europe, you're probably going to have rolling blackouts. Mm? And in the United States, your gas prices are going to go through the roof. I did a short video the other day where I said that, in 30 to 60 days, you'd have $10 a gallon gasoline. That might be on the low end of the spectrum, the way things are going. And your leadership in the United States and in Europe is going to blame it all on Russia. The Russians did it. The Russians did it. Oh, yeah. The Russians are to blame. Yeah. That's a lie. That's a complete lie. Because the problems that both the United States and Western Europe were experiencing, or rather are experiencing and are going to continue to experience, well, they were baked into the cake a long time ago. See, when the Biden administration took office back in the day, in January of 2021 rather, they pushed this Build Back Better agenda, which was just basically spending money like there's no tomorrow. And of course, that kind of spending would inevitably lead to the inflation that's going to affect the United States. Inevitably. In fact, before the Russian invasion of Ukraine, inflation was already peaking out. The official number was something like 6%, maybe 7.5%. I mean, they were trying to keep it fuzzy. John Williams over at Shadow Stats, which uses the old way of measuring inflation, had already pegged it at double digits before the Russian invasion of Ukraine, before the sanctions, before all this nonsense. And the inflation was rising even before the Russia situation. And insofar as Europe is concerned, well, Europe pursued a very stupid energy policy, see, because it wanted to go green and have everything with renewables, solar, wind, and it didn't want to have any kind of nuclear energy power, and it didn't want to have any kind of coal power. So they decided to rely on natural gas. And that meant, of course, that they would be at the mercy of the Russians. And these decisions that the Europeans made, they made them years ago. And any fool back then could have told you, this is going to end in disaster, because you're going to be completely dependent on the Russians for natural gas, which is going to wind up counting for something like 40% of your energy needs, which is exactly what happened. Now, the Europeans need the Russians, and the Europeans, because they are not independent, they are vassal states of the United States. Well, the United States started throwing a hissy fit at Russia, and the Europeans followed suit. And the Europeans started throwing sanctions at the Russians. And what happens if somebody starts punishing you and you have the power to hit them back? Well, you're going to hit them back now, aren't you? And that's what's happening. The stupid European leadership, the stupid American leadership. I mean, remember, gasoline was going through the roof before this Russian nonsense. Remember those stickers on the gas pumps of Joe Biden pointing to the price that you were going to be paying at the pump? And the logo was, I did that. Those stickers are all over the place in the United States, right? Before the Russia situation. But now that the Russia situation has popped up, they're going to blame it all on Russia. They're going to try to fool you into thinking that all the misery that you are experiencing is because of the Russians. It's not because of the Russians. I mean, the Russians are adding to your misery, but the people most responsible are your political leaders. The Biden administration, the leaders in Europe, Ursula von der Leyen and all these stupid bureaucrats in Europe. They're the reason that you are suffering. The Russians just added on, and it's not even that the Russians deliberately added it on to your misery. No. The Russians are basically responding to the Western political leadership, the Biden administration, and the European Union attacking Russia economically, cutting them off from SWIFT, cutting out Visa and MasterCard, doing all kinds of sanctions to hurt Russia. And so, I mean, if somebody tries to hurt me, I'm going to try to hurt them back now, won't I? I mean, I'm not just going to simply take it. Yeah, so the Russians are hitting back, hitting the Europeans and the Americans where it hurts. And well, it's hurting them, but it's not hurting the people in charge in the West. Oh no, it's not hurting Hunter Biden now, isn't it? And it's not hurting Stephen Colbert, is it? No, he drives Tesla. Yeah, he drives a $100,000 car while you drive your, whatever it is that you're driving, and that you have to pay now, instead of $30 to fill the tank, now you have to pay $80, $90 to fill the tank. You're the one who pays for their decisions, for their bad decisions. And they are trying to convince you that the Russians did it. The United States just admitted that it was developing biological weapons with Ukraine in Ukrainian laboratories. Now, this is serious stuff. This is way against the Geneva Convention. I mean, this is really outrageous stuff. And it was admitted yesterday by Victoria Nuland, Undersecretary of State. She admitted it to Congress, to Marco Rubio, in Senate hearings. She admitted it, that the United States and Ukraine were developing biological weapons in Ukraine against every single convention imaginable. And you know what she said in her testimony? As soon as she admitted that, then she said, oh, but the Russians are to blame. It's the Russians' fault. It's like, Hillary Clinton and the Democratic National Committee back a few years ago, when a whole bunch of emails came out showing what, holy cow, what creeps, what evil people the Democratic National Committee is, complete with emails that many people think refers to, child sex trafficking. I'm not kidding. Look it up. And what happened when that broke, when those emails came out? Thousands upon thousands of emails came out describing corruption, describing all kinds of nefarious activities. What happened? Hillary Clinton and the Democratic National Committee blamed it all on the Russians. The Russians did it. The Russians ate my homework. And now the United States and the European Union and NATO seem hell-bent for leather on going to war with Russia. Why do you think that is? It's so that all the problems, all the catastrophe that is happening, all these problems that people have been talking about for years, in some cases decades, all these problems that are going to blow up. Well, if there's a war with Russia, they'll say, oh, well, it's because of this war with Russia. We didn't do anything. Oh, no, we were innocent. The Russians did it. And you are suffering because of the Russians. Yeah, that's what they're going to tell you. They're going to tell you that, and it's a lie. The leaders that you have are to blame. The leaders in the United States and Europe and Canada and Australia and New Zealand and the United Kingdom, they're the ones to blame. They are incompetent buffoons. They have created this situation. And now they are pushing for a war with Russia for no other reason so that they can sweep away the responsibility for all the stupidity and incompetence that they carried out, sweep it away and claim that, oh, it's the war with the Russians, that's the blame, that's why our society is completely destroyed. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make sure that you believe that your suffering is the result of the Russians and not the result of the incompetent, pathetic leadership that you have. Somebody should tell you that, and that's why I'm making this video.